This is the Antiques Road Trip. Yeah.
Stop the clock. It's the penultimate leg featuring our road trip lovies, Christina Trevanian and James Braxton. Cool shades.
Ah, what a glorious day.
Isn't it just beautiful? Absolutely beautiful. Spring sunshine.
Spring sunshine.
So I've dressed like a bluebell.
Ah, lovely of you. Christina may be keen on jewellery and silver, but most things have taken her fancy on this road trip.
Is it heavy?
Very heavy.
I've also got some oars here as well. Look at you. With two. I like it.
Whilst James has a more tactile approach.
So I'm amongst the carpet.
Each their own. What's the plan of action then?
It's, I would say, almost sunny enough for a little light paddling.
Oh, paddling and an ice cream.
Sounds great. From her original £200, Christina has £318.86. James also began with £200 and he's streaking ahead with £507.70. And James is very determined today.
Employ all my faculties, I think.
How many of those have you got?
Well, I've got sight.
Yeah.
I've got smell.
Okay.
I've got touch.
Yeah.
Taste.
Sounds sensational. Our pair's road trip kicked off in Northumberland, and we've already auctioned in Hamilton, Greater Manchester and Merseyside. The trip will continue towards Tyne and Wear and will cross the border once more with a concluding auction in Ayr on the west coast of Scotland. Today, our adventure begins in Merseyside with an auction in East Bolden in Tyne and Wear. And they're clocking up the miles in this 1965 Jaguar Mark II. It's very reliable, just like James. So far.
I don't want you to be firing on all cylinders. I think I'd prefer it when you're just on the one.
Let's not wait a minute longer, because shopping beckons in the sunny resort of Southport in Merseyside. The town's Lord Street is said to have inspired the tree-lined boulevards of Paris. You believe that, you'll believe anything. But right now, let's get spending.
Good luck.
Wonderful.
Good luck.
Enjoy. Have fun.
Good luck.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
your scarf. Your scarf.
Oh, the
Your scarf.
Oh, how very chivalrous of you. Thank you, Sir Walter Raleigh.
Bye.
Bye.
We'll catch up with Sir Walter later, but let's have a nosy in here with Christina. Looks great, and owner John has been in the biz for over 50 years. Nice tie, John.
So this is your empire, John?
Part of it, yes.
Yeah, this is wonderful. My goodness, what a selection.
With one auction win under her belt, Christina still needs to find something profitable to overtake James's mighty lead.
Fab. Well, I'll have a little look
Yeah,
around.
look around and,
Oh, that's cool, isn't it? What's that?
well, it's from the Scout movement, a totem
A totem.
from about I think it's dated 1929.
1929. Oh, wow, look at that.
Yes.
1929. So you've got... What's
Yes.
that? Some sort of...
Frog or something, is it?
You've got a wolf there. So what would have come off that? Would have had arms there or something?
Possibly,
Yeah.
yes.
Totem poles would sometimes be carved by the scouts themselves and be proudly displayed outside their tent.
What's on that, John? That's cool.
I would think it's probably worth about £150, but I'd probably sell it for, what, 90, 80 pounds, something like that.
Okay, all right, that's quite cool. I like that. Right, let's have a little
Okay,
look round.
wander around.
Very interesting. What's next?
I like this hat.
The smoker's cap.
Yeah. That's cool, isn't it? Rather than a smoking cap, can I call it a thinking cap?
You could do.
I think sort of imagine somebody sitting by the fire,
Yes.
thinking,
It suits you well, that.
ruminating about the day.
Yes.
I like that. What's on that?
£50.
Is it? That's really rather lovely. And it's original tassel as
Oh, yeah,
well.
it's over 100 years old.
Yeah.
This little velvet number would be worn by men in the 19th century to stop their hair from smelling of smoke. That's two possibles.
And I like that as well. What's that? Gosh, you've got so many interesting things. This is sort of like a feast for the eyes.
This is printer's blocks, and this is the printer's tray where all the different letters would be kept.
Love that. How much is on that?
The whole thing is 125.
Is it? Where's that come from?
It came out of a printer's. It was in his garage. He went out of business about 30, 40 years ago, he said, and he took all of the old stuff home. But this is probably 100 years old.
Blimey, lots of potentials here, Christina. Elsewhere, James is still making his way to his first shop. Tactics for today, Jimbo?
I wouldn't mind spending a bit of money. And whether I do that blindfolded or with the power of extrasensory nibbling, I don't know.
You okay? Back to Christina. Has she made up her mind yet?
I've got my cap on, so I'm thinking, and I really like the totem pole, and I am interested in the printing blocks at the back of the shop. And I'm interested in the hat as well, but I think the hat might be a little bit too expensive for me. So what could you do for the totem pole and the printing blocks?
Right.
John.
I'm giving it a lot of thought. You've got the hat on.
Do you want the hat?
You've got the hat on.
Okay, hang on a second.
I'll have to have the hat
Give
on.
it some thought.
That's it, yes, okay.
Okay,
Well,
think about
I
it.
feel as though that would be a £200 deal for the two items. That's what I feel, with the thinking hat on.
Okay.
Now, you have to now
Okay.
think.
Blimey, we
Okay,
could be here all day.
£200. That's a lot of money. That's nearly all the money I've got.
Well, that's what buying and selling is all about.
Oh, John.
Spending your money.
Can we just nudge it under the... Can it begin with a 1?
Well, I'll tell you what we'll do.
Yeah.
It's got to begin with a 2.
Oh,
And
why?
what I'll do is I'll include in the price the hat. So for £200, you get 3 items.
That's very
It's a
interesting.
very good deal.
Gosh, that's a gamble. It would leave her just over £118.
Well, do you know what? They're the kind of things that I wouldn't normally buy, and I think the printing tray is fab. I love that. I have no idea what that's worth. I mean, it's fun, but that's kind of the joy, isn't it? You've got to take a risk
That's
in
what
life.
the business is about.
Yeah. And my hat, well, I like the hat.
Yes.
£200, let's do it.
Great.
I don't know what on earth I'm doing, but there we go.
Brave, brave spending from Christina there. £80 for the totem pole, £100 for the Victorian letterpress, and £20 for the Victorian thinking hat.
Right,
you.
me and my totem pole will toddle off. Oh, thanks, John.
Bye-bye.
Bye, John.
Bye.
Thank you.
Meanwhile, back to James in the snazzy classic car.
These seats, although they don't seem to have any form to them, they are beautifully sprung. It's rather like lying on a well-sprung bed.
James has purred the Jag all the way to the village of Burscough in West Lancashire. And West Lancashire Antiques Exports is where he's destined.
This looks like a good trade warehouse.
Certainly does. There's 30,000 square feet absolutely jammed full, and there's 3 floors to have a mooch in.
My word. There are some chairs here.
Nothing like staking the blooming obvious, James. Look at that.
Wow. There's more and more and more. Puffer fishes, walking sticks. Amazing. Ah, something akin to my heart, bamboo. Now, what on earth is this? We've got a bamboo shaft here, and then we've got brass both ends, the handle here, and it works, you know. When was this made? Late 19th century, probably. Anyway, this might come in useful here because it's so far away. I can pick stuff that I can't reach normally, and then, but again, I can't see. Maybe you held it above your head and then released it.
Oh dear. Anything else grab your fancy, James?
Oh, they're heavy. Always, you know. The rule of thumb thing, if it's heavy, it's good. If it's light, it's bad. Anyway, bit of restoration going on. These are Chinese. They're not early. They're quite roughly potted. You can feel that. In fact, if I had a blindfold now, okay, I could feel that they're quite rough and it's not very well thrown. So he would have got his arm in that and he would raise the pot up like that. And then they'd have an initial firing and then they'd do the enamelling. But what do they have? They have height. They look impressive. There's a pair. And actually, the damage is there to one only. That could be restored. Has the Chinese ship passed? They're not. It's not as buoyant. So something like that, if they were cheap, sort of round about 150, I'd have a go at them.
Time to find dealer Brett to chat prices.
I've looked at some possibilities. The vases, Chinese vases.
Pair of Canton vases, quite a bit of damage on the rim.
Yeah, I saw that.
I need
What do you need?
250.
250. Ooh, okay. And that rather strange bamboo thing.
Over grabber. £80.
£80. What if I bought the pair of Chinese vases and that fabulous grabber? £300.
320.
310, Brett. Go on.
310.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thanks very
Really
much.
kind. Really kind.
And I hope you make a good profit.
So do I. The nightmare could have begun.
It could do, definitely.
Well, let's hope not. Both our road trippers are spending big today. £240 for the pair of 19th century Chinese vases and £70 for the Victorian long arm. Oi! Stuck in reverse, James? Oh, Lord, he is going on. Bang! Elsewhere, Christina has travelled to the city of Liverpool. The world-famous Anfield Stadium is home to Liverpool Football Club since its formation in 1892, but it also has a strong connection with the first major conflict of the 20th century, the Boer War.
We are walking from the...
Christina is meeting with the club's museum curator, Stephen Doan, to investigate further.
And here is the famous, this is Anfield sign. It's always good to touch it for luck.
That's what they do, isn't it?
Yes. And then
Within this state-of-the-art stadium that seats over 50,000 lies a military connection like no other.
Stephen, it is a phenomenal piece of architecture, it really is, but I'm very confused about why I'm here, because I thought I was coming here to learn about the Boer War.
Well, the Boer War does have a connection with this. This stand is called the Spion Kop.
Spion Kop, or Spy Hill, was the highest hill on a ridgeline in Natal in South Africa. The year was 1900. The Boers were fiercely opposed to British rule within the region, hence the onslaught of war. British forces were going to climb to the summit to relieve captured troops in nearby Ladysmith.
But they made a catastrophic error. They went up the hill and failed to remember that it had false horizons. So they camped for the night on stone and sand. You couldn't really dig in. Dawn came and they realised that up above them, all around, were Boer forces looking down on them.
So they were totally exposed.
Completely exposed.
Around 350 British soldiers were killed that one day. 1 in 3 British combatants were either dead, wounded, or taken prisoner. It was the most shocking casualty rate to that date in the history of the British Empire. Despite this terrible tragedy, the Boers were eventually overcome and the war was won by the British.
So why have they called the football stand after something that was quite such a terrible disaster?
Yes, it is quite strange. It does make some sense, though, here, because most of the people involved in the disaster from the British side were actually from Lancashire, or from Liverpool, in other words. So they were locals.
Britain was at its imperial height, and the Battle of Spion Kop was portrayed as a heroic defeat.
Actually, the word Spion Kop was used on an awful lot of football grounds. In fact, we now have about 23 in Europe. There was also a racehorse, there was a steam engine. Some of the slate galleries in the North Wales slate quarries were called Spion Kop as well, all of which doesn't really make a lot of sense. What we do know is that our stand was a large sort of heap of earth at first, then later remodelled in about 1906.
Ah, so the heap of earth.
It looked a little bit like a hill. By 1908, we know definitely it was called the Spion Kop by the supporters and by the press. We can imagine that the Boer War was ending and sort of the Lancashire soldiers had come back home. Those who survived were standing on there, perhaps. Maybe they lost colleagues. Maybe they remembered them.
Brothers in arms.
Yes, brothers in arms.
by chance, in the mid-60s, a stadium worker found a precious piece of evidence of the stand name.
Here I have a little object. This is from 1928, and this isn't the only actual piece of painted evidence of the name. The club officially named it as such and recognised that this is something important.
So this was hanging here in 1928?
Yes.
Gosh, how fascinating. It's really fascinating.
Here it does have a resonance, and certainly this Spion Kop is the Spion Kop. You ask any football supporter, whatever the team, anywhere in the world, you mention the Kop or the Spion Kop, it's Anfield. And although there are many other football grounds and other places that have taken this name, really it doesn't have the same cachet.
Resonance
as here.
somehow.
Same resonance, yeah.
125 years after the club was formed, the Spion Kop is synonymous with the team's red jerseys and liver bird logo. Renowned globally, the stand pays tribute to the local heroes that lost their lives on a distant hill in South Africa. Meanwhile, how's James feeling about his big money buys?
I think it must be the sunshine. It's brought out a bit of madness in me. But Christina's going to be absolutely delighted.
Well, you're not the only one blowing the budget. James is off to the Wirral in Merseyside, the town of Birkenhead, to be precise. Amorini Antique Centre is James's next stop. And he has a little under £200 to spend. What'll take your fancy in here, then?
This is a Vesta. It's for striking matches, and if we open it up, we might have the odd match in there. We do. Look, there's a match. Rather nice. And I bet you that would still work. So there's a roughened edge on the bottom. You just strike it on that. And that is rough. I can feel it with my nail. What attracts me to this is we've got a lovely engraved crest here, and we've got a figure of Neptune with this trident, very, very apt for here. Years ago, if something was engraved, it was seen as detrimental, but nowadays it's prized because it has a decorative value.
Dating from the early 20th century, it's priced at £28.
Oh, well, here's a nice bell. Now, I wonder if that came off a ship or something. Here. Oh, this is my sort of thing. Training ship Mersey. What a very fabulous image, photographic image. There's more and more interest in historical photographs, and that's a very powerful image. Look at that, sort of slightly becalmed, isn't it? And then you've got this mighty great square-rigged boat coming out. So that'd be a steel hull. This is the sort of thing that went very quickly.
The price tag is £39.
Summon Carol. Oh, Carol. Dear, oh dear. That's rather rude, isn't it? Carol, I'm loving this picture. It's really evocative, isn't it? It's very moody. Also, I like the Vesta with the rather nice figure of Neptune on it, engraved figure.
Yes, I know the one.
Prices?
Well,
Can you do deals?
this dealer, I'm sure, will be comfortable if I took the £9 off it.
Okay, 30. Yeah, I like that. And how much on the Vesta?
The Vesta actually belongs to a friend of mine, and I'm sure she'd be happy to take £10 off that for you.
That's 18. I will buy the picture at 30, Carol,
Okay.
if that's all right.
Yeah.
And I would definitely buy that Vesta at 18.
Yes.
Thank you very much indeed. That's very kind of you.
Good luck with
Really
that.
kind. Thank you.
£48 on two distinctly maritime items.
I've got my Neptune and I've got my boat. So I'm off to the Americas. Thank you.
Whatever you say, James.
What a lovely shop.
That's the end of the shopping for today, and our two are hatching a plan for tomorrow.
Maybe if I just wore a blindfold and just relied on touch and taste.
Ooh, now that's an idea.
That would be an idea.
Yeah, I like that idea. OK, so what are you going to use as a blindfold? Oh, you could use your cravat as a blindfold.
Something to look forward to. Nighty-night. With the heavens descending, our pair are exchanging beauty tips.
Do you sleep with rollers in?
No, I don't.
Are you sure?
I sleep with shower cap on.
A shower cap on.
Yeah, to promote hair growth.
Blimey O'Reilly. He's joking. Here's a reminder of what our road trippers have bought so far. Christina has 3 lots. The Scout Totem Pole, the Victorian Thinking Cap, and the Victorian Letterpress. She's spending big and has £118.86 left for today's shopping. Our wealthy leader is also digging deep into his wallet. James has 4 items. The Victorian bamboo long arm, the weighty pair of 19th century vases, the silver festa case, and the photograph of the training ship. James has just a few pounds more than Christina, with £149.70 left.
What? Can you stop breathing, please? This is getting a bit foggy in here.
Is it me breathing? No, it's your garlic breath.
Oh, is that what it is?
Heavy breathing, actually. Our road trippers are pointing the car towards the city of Preston in Lancashire. And mischief is in the air, because this couple of swells are sharing a shop. Okay.
Do you find it intimidating or not? Do you feel more self-conscious?
Yes. If it's a small shop,
Yeah.
then I sort of don't want you to see what I'm picking up or looking
Looking.
at. You'll be sort of looking through the...
Lest I steal that deal.
Oh dear. Preston Antique Centre is this morning's first stop.
This is the homeland of industry. This is Richard Arkwright from Preston, building his mills, and now it's an antique centre.
Now it's an antique centre. How out?
Still a beating heart of industry.
Beating heart of our industry.
Yeah,
Christina.
exactly.
This late 19th century building was the last of the large cotton mills to be built in the city. There are 2 floors with over 40 dealers selling goodies.
I've never really been in a big industrial building. Isn't it glorious?
Wonderful, is it? Can
Yeah.
you imagine it kind of just vibrating with all that machinery?
All the machinery, all the people.
Yeah, look at this floor as well. Turn around.
Turn around.
Now, what's going on here?
Yeah. Can you see anything?
No, not now.
I will go and find something and you've got to tell me what it is, okay?
Okay.
All right?
Are you going to present it to me?
Yeah, stay there. I won't be long.
Crikey. She's not going to...
This is the sort of Zen art of buying antiques.
Blimey, she is, look. Bit like the Generation game, this.
Okay. This is quite interesting.
This is the Zen art. Blimey.
Okay.
I'm gonna go for an early identification.
Okay.
I think it's definitely a metal.
It
It's
is.
softness, and I think it's a sort of tea urn, a samovar.
Well done.
What on earth?
Are you sure you're ready?
Must be a melon. It's his lucky day.
I think it's a model of something. Something I may have ate this morning. Is it an apple?
It is an apple. How did you know that?
Well, I just felt the stalk.
That's what he says.
That might test him, mightn't it?
Certainly hope so.
Oh, God, it's quite heavy.
It is heavy.
I think it's 2 materials. I
Okay,
think
good one.
Has that blindfold been fiddled with?
Oh, I know what it is. I hate to say it, isn't this boring? It's the shoemaker's last.
Full marks to our contestant, Mr. James Braxton, clairvoyant and antiques expert.
That's what I should have given him. Oh my goodness, his senses would have been blown away by that. Look, it's like a snake. It's so fluid the way it rolls down like that. I love it.
Found anything, James?
I like this. This is quite fun. If you had a conservatory, and conservatories get ever and ever popular, this is a fabulous thing. It doesn't look much now, but this has age, so it's mid-19th century, Victorian, and it would have had lots of terracotta, maybe things like auriculas that have many different varieties, and you would have had your prize one on the top there, and then all its companions around there. It would look fabulous. It needs to be peopled with terracotta potted plants, preferably auriculas.
All right, Percy Thrower.
if it was 30 or 40 pounds, it's worth risking because you don't see many of these today. And if you spent, whatever, 10, 20,000 pounds on a conservatory, what better way of furnishing it?
James has found the lady in charge, Sue.
I quite like this, but it hasn't got a price tag on it.
I do remember how much it was.
Is it low?
No, it's £75. That's what he had on it.
£75?
Yeah.
Do you think he'd do a deal?
I might do it. I might do a deal.
You're not going to smack me or anything if I said sort of 30, 40 pounds, are you?
I might do.
Smack. I don't blame you, Sue.
I'd do 45.
How about 40, Sue? Come on, 40. Well done. Thank you very much indeed.
£40 for the wire jardiniere. Well, that's James finished in here. What about our glamorous Christina?
See, now, doesn't that look really boring with that nasty, much later 1970s cushion on? But take this away, and you have a very beautiful solid oak seat, desk chair, swivel desk or captain's chair.
Interesting find, but how much is it, Christina?
We've got a price tag on here, £95. I don't think that's too bad.
Right, where's the lovely Sue?
Have it, take a seat in that very comfy chair
comfortable
there.
one.
Yeah. Yeah. So, it's got 95 in it. What could your very best price be on it, Sue?
It really should be 80. I can
£80.
ease another £5, but that's it.
£75, Sue. I am a happy girl. I'll give you some money.
A generous £20 discount on the oak desk chair. Meanwhile, James has journeyed to Accrington. This Lancashire town is famous for producing the toughest bricks that were used in the iconic skyscraper, the Empire State Building. But this isn't the only connection to the USA. It was the hometown of a young engraver who left Accrington to live the American dream. Lancashire lad Joseph Briggs went on to run the world-famous Tiffany Glass Company. James is meeting with Gillian Berry at the Haworth Gallery to find out about this remarkable craftsman.
Hello, I'm Gillian. I'm the curator.
The gallery holds the largest and most public collection of Tiffany glassware in Europe. In the late 19th century, the Lancashire cotton industry didn't appeal to a young Briggs. A talented engraver, he had a thirst for adventure, and his one-way ticket, bound for America, would offer him more than he could ever have imagined.
He arrived in New York and started doing some odd jobs. After 2 years, he saw an advertisement to work at Louis Comfort Tiffany's studios. He applied for the job a few times, and on the last time he was refused. He came out of the building, he saw Louis Comfort Tiffany on the street, and it was raining. So he took his umbrella over to Louis Comfort Tiffany and walked him back to the building. Louis Comfort Tiffany asked him to draw for him. So Joseph drew a religious scene, and on the basis of that drawing, it got him a job as an errand boy.
So manners maketh the man, but also provided opportunities.
Absolutely.
Louis Comfort Tiffany would become the leading exponent of Art Nouveau glassware. The beauty of the design and artisan techniques more than appealed to the talented Briggs.
So how did Joseph Briggs go from errand boy to managing director?
Well, Joseph set himself some little tasks of practicing making mosaics in the mosaic department, and he practiced using eggshells, so cutting them out very delicately, colouring them and making mosaics. He very quickly became the foreman of the mosaic department.
Briggs masterminded some incredible pieces ranging from the iconic peacock vase to this exquisite sulphur-crested cockatoo sampler.
It's very beautiful, isn't it? It's almost bejewelled.
It is, it's incredibly beautiful. It's an exhibition piece, and what they would have done with it is show off all the techniques of glass that they had. So you've got every colour of iridescent glass in it. You've got opalescent glass in it. And you've also got mother of pearl within the feathers.
Yeah, that's very clever. Talk about simulating nature.
When Art Nouveau and Tiffany passed into the dark years of obscurity in the 1930s, Joseph had the unenviable task of closing down the once hugely successful company.
What heralded the end was basically the end of Art Nouveau when Art Deco came in.
Fashion.
Yeah. But alongside that came the Great Depression as well. So people didn't have the money to pay for these high-end pieces.
Despite this, Joseph Briggs ensured that over 140 of the finest pieces were sent to his beloved hometown.
After the collapse of the company, what happened to Joseph Briggs?
Unfortunately, Joseph passed away shortly afterwards.
Which shows incredible foresight of him to send these sort of great specimen pieces back to Accrington rather than just sell them with the general stock of Tiffany's.
It is. It's a wonderful legacy, and a legacy that belongs to Accrington, and that it explains exactly why an American collection is in Accrington.
For 40 years, Joseph was personally involved in some of Tiffany's most sensational commissions. Not only head of the company, he also became one of the firm's finest craftsmen, responsible for some of its greatest works. Now, talking of a great piece of work, where's Christina?
So in this last shop, this is my sort of final opportunity to find something that is really going to catch up with James Braxton.
You can do it, Christina. She's off to the seaside. Blackpool is where she's hoping to find an auction winner. The Regent Antiques Centre is next on her list. This beautiful building first opened as a cinema in 1921. With over 50 dealers spanning the 3 floors, what can Christina find in here? She has just over £40 left in her purse.
Let's go exploring. Stairs this way. Here we go. Teawares, tea sets. My gosh, how many cups of tea? Oh, that's nice. That is quite cool, isn't it? Finished glass stand. I wonder what that would have been used for. I mean, that's when in the Victorian, obviously, era, you used to get glass lustres, which used to have big old cut glass crystal drops all around here. But I think this is probably slightly later. It's got the most amazing sort of iridescent metallic finish to it.
This decorative pedestal stand would probably have started life as one of a pair. It would have been very much cherished within the parlour of a Victorian household. It's priced at £25. Time to chat to dealer Steve.
So what could your best price be on that, Stevie? Stevie knows like a bargain.
15.
£15? I mean, I can't argue with that. That's brilliant.
Oh, pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
£15, smashing. I'm such a klutz. I might break that. Oh.
The Victorian pedestal stand completes this leg's shopping. What's the mood in the Jag?
You pleased with what you bought?
I am. They're risks. They're risks. One could lose £100 or gain £100.
Oh, wow, OK.
Come on, you two. Time for a bit of shut-eye. Can you believe it? The penultimate auction has arrived. James and Christina have skedaddled to the village of East Bolden in Tyneham Weir.
Hey, look at this sale today.
Oh, look at this.
Woo, magic.
Theatre of dreams.
Here we go.
In we go.
Bolden Auction Galleries are our hosts today. Christina has had a good go at blowing her budget. She has spent £290 on 5 lots. James has also been splashing the cash. He's doled out £398, also on 5 lots. Let's find out what they think of each other's antique plunder.
Wow, look at this. I mean, I've not seen one of these before. Look at this, a bamboo-handled grabber. It's useful if you needed to grab something, and, who doesn't?
Oh, great great fun, isn't it? You can imagine a scout jamboree, somebody carving and painting this. This is good times, 1920s. This is, I can smell wet canvas tents, burnt sausages. £80, it's in the lap of the gods.
Tom Robson is today's auctioneer. What do you think of their offerings?
The thinking cap, it's an interesting thing. Nobody's ever going to wear it. Somebody's going to stick it on the desk. It's always going to be a little bit of fun. Potentially the one item that will run away will be the enamel vases. It's always a bit of a gamble. It's very hard to judge that market. We'll see.
Take your seats. The auction's about to begin, and today we're also open to internet bidders.
Hey, look, we're coming up soon, aren't we?
Soon, now more like, Christina's thinking cap is first to go.
I think it's going to be good.
£20 if anybody wants it. £20.
£20.
Lady upstairs, front row at £20. Anybody else for 25 then? The bids upstairs at 20, 25, 30, 35, 40.
You got friends here.
Bids upstairs, ladies bid at 40. Anybody else for 45?
Start on a profit.
Always helps. Well done, Christina.
Small acorns.
Warming up.
Small acorns.
James's photo of the training ship is up next.
£10 for it, anyone?
Lovely. It's a boat.
Anybody?
Who don't love a boat?
Nobody wants it for £10. Would anybody like it for £5? Thank you, sir. £5. Gentleman at the back with £5. £10
Right,
anywhere
it's just
else.
a starting bid.
With a gentleman at the back of the hall for £5. Anybody else for 10?
Oh.
Blimey, that's disappointing. Sunk.
Well, it doesn't seem enough.
I concur. But dib, dib, dib. It's the Scout Totem Pole next up.
It's just wonderful sort of childhood.
It is memories, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is memories.
£30 start.
Oh, is that all?
£35 anywhere else. Knocks my bid out. On the left with Laurie on the sale room at £45. Anybody else for 50? We've stopped at £45. Is there £50 anywhere else for it? Anybody else for £50?
I'd take it home for that.
Welcome to the club.
Thanks.
It's early days, you two. Someone's got a very quirky buy there.
Oh, I'm sad. I wanted that to go for more.
James's wire jardiniere is next.
£20. Anybody for £20? £20. There's two people bid at the same time at £20. On my left with Laurie on the sale room at £20. £25 anywhere else. The bid's with Laurie at £20. Anybody else for 25?
Oh, come on, a bit more.
That must have hurt.
It's like a wounded rabbit, that was. It was dispatched.
Oh, dear.
Now it's time for Christina's Victorian letterpress.
With me, it's on commission at £50. Anybody else for 55 then? Commission bid, still with me at £50. Anybody else for 55?
Should take this.
55, 60, 65, 70. £70, it's with me, but only just there at 70. It's £75 anywhere else. Anybody else for 75?
So again, I would take this home for that.
It's a lovely example, but another good buy for the lucky bidder.
It's war out there, Christina.
War.
Okay.
Tension is rising. Can James's silver Vesta case put up a good fight?
£20 bid on my left.
On the internet.
See, instant profit. Well done,
£20
James.
anywhere else. It's with Laurie on my left at £20. Anybody else for 25?
Kind of helped, but it's a teeny weeny profit.
Is that all?
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, indeed. Christina's Victorian pedestal's up next.
£10 for it, anyone? Bit of Bohemian glass for £10. £10, thank you, sir. Upstairs on my left at 10. Anybody else for 15? With the gentleman upstairs on my left at £10. Anybody else for 15?
James's mood isn't improving, and Christina seems to be feeling the same.
I sort of knew that was going to be a
I
disaster.
know. Well,
Maybe the bamboo long arm can turn things around, James.
Great thing, one bid, £15 starts me, £20 anywhere else, 20, 25. £30, gentleman on my left first at 30, 35, 40, £40 still upstairs on my left with a gentleman at £40, 45, 50. £50 the bid's upstairs with a gentleman
50.
on my
Come on,
left at
come on.
£50. Anybody else for 55?
Come on.
Maybe not. Such a shame.
Well, it certainly didn't grab their imagination, did it?
Sorry?
Someone's not pleased. It's time for Christina's oak chair next.
1, 2, 3 bids, and I'm straight in at £60. £65 anywhere else. £60 it's with me on commission at £60. Anybody else for 65? 2, 3.
Oh dear, neither are having much luck today.
Anyway, I've got one more item left.
This is the biggie. James's large pair of 19th century vases. Beautiful.
Big pair of Chinese vases, £50 for them, anyone?
Oh, still there, aren't they?
150.
That's
See,
better.
online. See?
On my left at £150, 160 anywhere else. The bid's with Lloyd, £150.
160, 170.
170.
We've settled at £170, 180 anywhere else. On the sale room at £170, anybody else for 180. 2, 3. It's their room.
Oh, the brave gamble didn't quite pay off, James.
Well, it all started well,
You doubled your money on that cap.
and then it all went a bit south. didn't it?
What happened?
Well, I'm not really sure. Should we go and count some numbers?
I think we need to.
Up you go. Go on, heave-ho.
Heave-ho.
Chin up, chaps. It's not all bad news. Let's check the figures. James began with £507.70. He's made a loss of £180.70. Ouch. But James still has a respectable £327 for the road trip finale. Christina started the third leg with £318.86. She also made a loss, but it totals £105.50, which makes Christina today's victorious winner. She has £213.36 for the last leg.
What a lovely day.
Isn't it beautiful? But not our day today, sadly.
It wasn't. Onwards and upwards, I think.
Yeah, all sideways in my
Or
case.
sideways, even diagonally.
Next time, James comes clean and reveals his master plan.
My aim is to try and end up with more money than I started.
That's the idea, Jimbo. Christina turns ghost hunter.
So it is actually haunted down here, then?
Well, probably.
And while James finds time for a paddle, it's not just the weather that's hotting up, but the competition too. It's the last outing for this pair on the next Antiques road trip.
Next here on BBC One, a new jackpot of £1,000 as we face a